It's hard to carry a conversation with a model if the model does not remember your previous queries and its responses. However, you can share context across generated responses with the previous response ID parameter. This parameter lets you chain responses and create a threaded conversation. Each response from a model returns a unique response ID. It is this ID that we can use to create a conversation. Here we ask our model to tell a joke. First, we set the store parameter to true in our call, so OpenAI can cache our responses. It does so for 30 days. This is optional, and it can save us some money by caching our responses. If you don't want OpenAI to cache your responses, set this to false. Okay, now we can print the model's responses. Now we want to ask our model a second question. So we add a second query. Here we ask the model to explain why the joke in the previous call is funny. This will not work unless we also send along the previous response's ID. Here we set the previous response ID to ID from the previous call. Now the model knows about the previous query and its response. Here's the joke, which was the response to our first call. And here's the model response from our second query. It knows how to handle the second query because it has the ID of its previous response. You can pass the ID of this response to the next response in order to create a conversation chain. With the Responses API, you can build multi-turn conversations involving image generation by using the previous response ID parameter. This makes it easy to iterate on images across multiple turns, refining prompts, applying new instructions, and evolving the visual output as the conversation progresses. Here's the code from our image generation tutorial. We make the call to generate an image. Here, we get the generated image here. And we save it to a file here. Now let's make a follow-up call. Here we make our second call. But this time, we ask the model to make the image look realistic. In order for the model to know which image or conversation we are talking about, we set the previous response ID of this call to the response ID of the last call. Now we save the second file. The second file is saved here. Here's the first image. And here's the second image.